The 38-years-old woman fell in love with Marcus and can't resist thinking about him no matter how she tried. Natasha Williams sat alone in the corner booth of Mama's Soul Food Cafe in Atlanta, her fork pushing around the mac and cheese on her plate. At 38, she'd built Sunnyvale Enterprises from the ground up, but success in the boardroom hadn't translated to her personal life. The mirror reminded her daily of the extra pounds she carried, and every birthday felt like another door closing on her dreams of marriage and family. Still single, Natasha? The voice cut through her thoughts like a knife. Rachel stood over her table, arms crossed, a cruel smile playing on her lips. The woman Natasha had fired for embezzlement 6 months ago. Almost 40 and eating lunch alone. Guess money can't buy you everything, huh? Natasha's throat tightened, but she kept her composure, her smile never wavering even as tears threatened to spill. Rachel continued her assault, each word a calculated strike, before finally strutting out of the cafe, leaving Natasha feeling exposed and small. Across the room, Marcus Hayes had witnessed everything. The 27-year-old mechanic, hands still stained with grease from his morning shift at Hayes Auto Repair, had stopped in for a quick lunch. But he couldn't eat. He couldn't look away from the woman in the corner who smiled through her pain with such grace it broke his heart. Marcus pulled out the small notebook he always carried, the one where he sketched during slow days at the shop. His pencil moved quickly, capturing not just Natasha's features, but something deeper, the strength beneath her wounded smile, the beauty she couldn't see in herself. At the bottom, he wrote, "You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Don't let anyone steal your joy." He caught the waitress's attention, pressed a 20 into her hand along with the drawing, and slipped out before Natasha could see him. When the waitress delivered the sketch, Natasha's hands trembled. She stared at the drawing, at the words, at the version of herself someone else saw. Her vision blurred with tears, but this time they were different. She scanned the cafe desperately, but her mysterious artist had vanished. That night, Natasha couldn't sleep. She kept the drawing on her nightstand, reaching for it whenever doubt crept in. Someone out there saw her, really saw her. The thought made her heart race in a way she hadn't felt in years. The black frame arrived at her office 3 days later. Inside was the most detailed drawing yet. Natasha laughing, her eyes bright, her beauty undeniable. The note made her breath catch. "I wish I were closer to your age. I'm only 27, but I'd give anything to be the man who makes you smile like this every day. If age doesn't matter to you, leave a red rose at Piedmont Park's fountain tomorrow at noon. Marcus." Natasha read it 5 times. 27, 11 years younger. Society would judge, people would talk, but her heart didn't care about any of that. That night she barely slept, her body restless with anticipation, her mind replaying every sketch, every word. The next morning she bought the most beautiful red rose she could find. When she arrived at Piedmont Park, Marcus was waiting by the fountain. Their eyes met and the world seemed to stop. He was beautiful, strong hands, warm brown eyes, a smile that made her feel like the only woman alive. "Hi," he said softly, his voice nervous but sincere. "I'm Marcus, the guy who can't stop thinking about you." Natasha's hands shook. "I'm Natasha, and I needed to meet you." They talked for hours. He told her about growing up in his father's auto shop, how he'd sketch during breaks, how he'd never felt about anyone the way he felt about her. She shared her fears about age, about being seen, about finally feeling beautiful in someone's eyes. When he walked her to her car, he took her hand, The touch sent electricity through her entire body. "Can I call you tonight?" he asked. "Please," she whispered. That night, they talked until 3 a.m. The next night until 4. They couldn't stay away from each other. But when Natasha's ex-boyfriend, Andre, a successful banker her own age, started pursuing her again, doubt crept in. Maybe she should choose someone appropriate, someone society would accept. Then Marcus showed up at her office, grease still on his hands from work, holding a bouquet of wildflowers. "I don't have much," he said, his voice raw with emotion. "I can't give you fancy restaurants every night or expensive gifts, but I can love you like you've never been loved. I can see you, cherish you, choose you every single day, if you'll let me." Natasha's heart broke open. She closed the distance between them, her hands cupping his face, and kissed him with everything she had. "Age is just a number," she whispered against his lips. "You've given me something no one else ever could. You made me feel worthy of love." 6 months later, they married in a small ceremony surrounded by family and friends. And when Natasha discovered she was pregnant at 39, she finally understood. Real love doesn't follow society's rules. It follows the heart. Sometimes love arrives in unexpected packages, younger, grease-stained, beautiful in its honesty. And sometimes that's exactly the love we've been waiting for all along.